Hello everyone and welcome to Uncivil Law, where we learn through the misfortunes of others. As always, I hope you'll enjoy this legal education content, and today will be the day I earn that subscription. For today's story, we are talking about an airline stewardess who wasn't able to get her dream job. She went through all the training and all the preparation necessary to be a stewardess, but she just had one small problem, or rather a large problem, because she couldn't fit into the stewardess seat with the lap belt that was provided. And she's like, I need an extender. No, you can't have one for safety reasons. Well, she's suing because she went through all the training and stuff and she can't fit into the jump seat that's provided for the stewardesses. So let's learn a little bit more about this. Perhaps unsurprisingly, this happened on Spirit Airlines, which has a bit of a reputation as well, because she was fired because she was too overweight to fit into her jump seat. For those of you unfamiliar with the term, this is the seat that the stewardesses sit in. They're usually facing reverse versus everyone else. So everyone else is facing to the front of the plane. Usually the jump seats are facing towards the back so they can see everyone. And she was fired because she couldn't sit into the seat. Okay, let's get started with this. A former Spirit airline flight attendant is suing the airline after she said she was terminated for being too fat for the jump seat. In the complaint in the district court, an attorney for Chelsea Blackman wrote the plaintiff had undergone the training and passed all the training and compliance, including being strapped into the jump seat, but when she was put on active duty and assigned to the Airbus 319, she claimed she was unable to buckle the jump seat belt due to her size and not allowed to use the expander. So yes, they will give you extensions for normal seats, but at least by FAA regulations, they don't for exit rows. Because the idea being that, in the exit rows, it's just another thing to entangle yourself with. So it's one thing we can remove. Now, not every airline follows this rule rigorously. I'm just saying what the FAA regulations say. So I'd imagine it's similar for the jump seats. It's like, we don't want to have anything additional to get entangled in because, you might need to get up and people have to pass through that. The jump seats are right in front of the first row. So they're right in front of a place where people would exit from. So for the same reason you wouldn't give the extension to the first row seats because the entanglement problem, you probably wouldn't give them to the jump seats. And so, but she's like, I should have been accommodated. I don't know about that. There are some serious safety concerns. Let's read on. The complaint states that Blackman, who we feel it's important to note is African American, was made to deplane before being placed on administrative leave. Well, she literally can't fly because she's overweight. She says that on September the 13th, Spirit Airlines allegedly held a meeting, which led to the letter that directed Blackman to appear and demonstrate that she could buckle into the jump seat because, it's kind of a necessary thing for her job. On October the 8th, the complaint said the airline directed the flight attendant to buckle into the jump seat that was too small for her, although it's a standard jump seat, so it's just because she's big, and she was withdrawn from the service. And then on November the 3rd, she terminated them, Spirit Airline terminating, saying that she could not fit into the jump seat. She says that while she was given the period from September the 3rd to October 12th to fit into the jump seat, Blackman's attorney alleged that a white flight attendant, who was also in the early stages of her career and hired around the same time, was given several months to do so. So she's claiming that there's a racial discrimination problem, or at least an unequal treatment problem. She says that there was a white flight attendant who was hired at the same time, who was given more time to fit her fat ass into a jump seat, but she was not given sufficient time or the same amount of time. So she says this is a discrimination problem. Maybe the discrimination is discriminating what food comes into her face. But that's a discrimination lesson we haven't learned yet, I guess. Blackman is suing the airline for violation of Title VII because of the racism and Florida Civil Rights Act. The suit says that Blackman experienced discriminatory and illegal differential treatment based upon race, and as a result of this has experienced lost wages, including compensatory benefits and mental anguish and suffering. Blackman states the defendant's actions were willful and malicious, reckless disregard of her civil rights pursuant to law and subject Spirit Airlines to punitive damages. It's nice to know, I guess, on some level that Spirit Airlines does in fact have standards. So that's, I guess, encouraging. Blackman is recording that the court award back pay, front pay, sideways pay probably, compensatory damages, punitive damages, attorney's costs, and other relief, and demands trial on all issues. It might be because you were too big to get into the seat, and this belt extender would present a safety hazard, which is the reason by FAA regulation is not allowed on exit rows, including the first row, which incidentally the jump seats are literally right in front of. Thus, that brings us to the end of the story about Spirit Airlines, an airline with an interesting reputation, but apparently it does have some standards. Perhaps not for its passengers, but at least for its crew. And they try to hire some people who might be able to fit into the seats, including the jump seats, which are, of course, in exit rows. And she can't fit into the jump seat because she's fat. She can't fit in there because she's fat, and she can't get it done, and she was unable to get it done, and so they fired her. And she says, well, I was discriminated against because of race, because they let a white woman have more time. Which I don't know. There might be a bunch of reasons that time was a factor for one but not the other, or it could just be BS or the rest of it. But this is some lawsuit that's happening right now, so if you want to be a stewardess, you might want to be able to fit into the seat. And at least for a moment, that brings us to the end of discussion of this case.